Well, what other authors have you worked with?
So I feel I'm going to mess up. It's Stephie,
Oh,
McCumbee.
Stephie McCumbee. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So she was a doll to work with too, and that was a fun book because again, her character was sort of related. I think it was based on her nephew. I may be wrong in thinking, not Garden in My Mind, but the second one. So again, just trying to
Was
be
that Spacing Out?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that she had had a nephew in mind when she wrote that. So that one was fun because we were sort of where it was spacing out. We really played with the idea of these little alien type creatures. And so, yeah, I really have fond memories, as you could tell. I'm like thinking back because that was years ago of working on, these different stories.
Yeah, that is that'd have been really fun to draw.
Yeah, and her first one too, Garden in My Mind was fun to draw because I do love drawing flowers. And I mean, I again just really they were, I don't. It's about just have again mindset, and so it was having this positive garden and as an illustration and just the flowers coming out and being well tended, I guess is a good way to describe it. So that was a very colorful book and. The style. So that's interesting too, because as an illustrator, your style sort of evolves and changes over time. So looking at her books versus Brian's books, I feel they do have a little bit of a different look to them, which is, interesting too, just to see the progress and the approach with two different authors.
Yeah, definitely. Because I will tell you that, looking at, I mean, there's some books I can pick up and I can recognize who the illustrator is. I'm surprised that they're very different.
If I were to show you work I did 10 years ago, it looks so different. And I just think that's just a statement, a testament to just how as an illustrator you can just keep growing and challenging yourself and trying new styles and techniques, kind of like what we were talking about with Boone, because you do get in this very set style and it's comforting and it's your go-to and feels like home. But if you do that for 10, 20 years, it could get boring and just kind of seem a little mundane. So yeah, I definitely... I don't take offense or anything to that at all because I agree with you. They definitely show a progression in style.
Well, and they look very, I mean, they're not saying, you never look at one and say, oh, this is early career, late career, or
right.
with that, but they are the style of where you really, when you look at the books, the characters and that, there's not the repetition of, the boys always look the same of where, no, you're working on capturing the characters and making those characters. And so that's
right. And even Boone, it's more of a softer watercolor look than what I do for, like Brian's stories with Blake or Amelia. So, again, I like that too. I love that, I've been given that freedom there. And I know the way Brian enjoys having the stories told. So that's, and that style and that, I continue with that for him and for Boys Town. But yeah, I think it's just par for the course of being, an illustrator. It's not like you said, it's not like one way is not the right way.
The third author that you worked with was Tammy Zentic, right?
Yeah. Yes, I did Grit for her, and that was a very painterly book intended for older kids. It wasn't. I would definitely say it had more of a fine art feel to it, and that's the look they really wanted to go for that story and that narrative.
And did you do Zest too? So the Grit and the Zest.
Oh, yes.
How fun! I mean, really, like. If you put all of those books out,
right.
That's a very fun variety of illustrations and topics to work on and everything.
Yeah. And it was just, that book was interesting because it was such a small format. It probably was a good thing that it was so, you know, it was more leaning in that, in a fine art, illustrative area, because the landscape was so small compared to what I've worked with on the other stories. But that made it kind of fun and different too. It was challenging. You know, you had to think a little differently for that manuscript, for both of those manuscripts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those were because they were the little books within
Ye-
the activity guides.
Yes, yes. So I did the little books.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
very good. Well,
Yeah.
Lisa, it has been so wonderful talking to you
Thank you
today.
so much. This has been lovely.
Yes, and we hope you'll come back and talk to us again. And we look forward to seeing more of your illustrations and hopefully hearing more about Boone because he's
Oh, thank you.
such a
Yeah,
little
I'm working
goose.
on it. I'm working on it. I had one idea and it's just not quite there, but I do like working with him too. So I'm going to keep at it.
Yeah, he is there. There'll be an inspiration. Boone and the pond have some
There's
stories to tell.
plenty more stories to tell. Exactly.